Today's show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee.
You know it's so good. It's so rich, flavorful. It's a Chicago-based company. They age their coffee beans in whiskey and bourbon barrels and have an incredible profile to them. I love drinking this coffee. If you're in Chicago, you should check them out. They have a bakery. They've got a bar there. They host events. And I think they've been growing like crazy and are often hiring. So definitely check them out on Instagram at Hexa Coffee, and then visit them online at hexacoffee.com. Use our promo code ELK for 10% off your total purchase, and, just keep crushing it.
Fuck yeah.
Tell us about this lovely guest we had. How did you even meet?
This is Randy Stanger,
but
the nudist.
That's not how you introduced him to me. So
he's the nudist priest.
Cut these friends in.
I met Randy through Steve-O. He's Steve-O's friend and handyman. And Randy's a nudist. He's the nudist tennis champion.
Randy the nudist is what I got,
Randy the nudist.
What he led with for me. So.
Yeah. So.
But so much more. So much more. It was really fun getting to know him.
This is him. Enjoy.
What's the strangest job Steve has ever had you do?
Taping him to the truck and driving to Las Vegas.
So you installed the reinforcements. You did like the safety check. Is that right?
We figured out how to, he said, this is what I want to do. You design it, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, Randy's like the builder. And so he's had to do like make fake cum shoot out of a dildo.
We
you
did
had
that.
to. Yeah, I know.
You were there.
I was there.
They wanted to shoot cum, and so I thought, what have I got? And I went, I just cleaned a drain with this pump thing, and it's got a trigger, and it's this plastic thing, and it'll be perfect.
It'll work.
It'll be perfect. We'll just put some hair lotion in there, or whatever it was. And
Yeah, I think it was like hand soap, maybe.
Was
my
it?
gosh.
Hand
It
cream?
was hand soap because we wanted we wanted cum shooting like in front of a green screen
on a
for
green- it was a
something
green
that
head.
is actually not released yet, so we can't say what it's for. But
But it was a green head.
yeah,
It was like a head model with a green sock on it, and so the face of the person we're shooting cum onto will be superimposed later.
Oh my gosh! Could you ever imagine as like an 8-year-old boy that this is your career path?
No, we've all got many different career paths.
Yeah.
When you think about everything I've done in my life, it's amazing. Some people do one thing for their entire life. They go to work in the morning, they come home at night, and everything has their vacation. That's all they do. I've had 100 different jobs.
yeah.
Jack of all trades.
You strike me as I'm going to push this closer to you. You strike me as someone who has lived many lives. I feel like I know Randy like version 8, but like version 7 through 1, like I don't know what those are.
In this body, I've lived lots of lives.
Exactly.
And before this body,
Exactly.
I've got a bunch of them too.
Yeah. Well, let's start from how did you first meet Steve?
I first met Steve on the set of Jackass 2.
Oh my
Sophia,
gosh.
chill out, please.
We,
Can you lay down?
we're babysitting a dog right now who wants to sit outside.
Give me a minute.
Sophia.
Put her out.
You met him on the set of Jackass 2?
On the set.
Okay.
And it was at Downey Studios. It's a group of homes. It looks like a neighborhood, and so it's a whole bunch of shell homes and driveways. And I can remember we were in a driveway.
But it's like a movie lot.
Yeah, it's a movie lot.
Okay,
And
so they're all
it's-
fake
it's-
homes. They're just shells. I see what
Yeah,
you mean.
you'll recognize these homes, in commercials or movies.
Okay.
And Bad Grandpa was filmed there and stuff.
Okay.
And stuff. And there's one home that has an interior, and then there's about 20 homes that are just the exterior.
I see. And what were you doing on Jackass 2?
I was, a buddy of mine called me up just like what Steve does. He says, I have an assignment for you. I said, what do you want me to do? I'm game. He says, you're going to babysit 40 bulls on a movie set for 3 days.
Wow.
So when we showed up in the morning, and then the bulls all come in, and we built these pins to hold the bulls that were used in the opening scene of Jackass 2.
Right. So the bulls end up running through that whole town and through the house and all that.
So there's that fog, and the guys are in slow motion screaming. They're coming through the fog and looking back, and then the bulls, and that's all. They were all great distance. It was all telephoto. They weren't near them really.
Sure.
And we were, kind of back. We kind of released them and then let them just gallop down, and all these guys. And so that was. Then the guys just broke off in the neighborhood, and then that was the scenes that we did. Each took at least 3 hours.
Just to get the bull running through in the right way, and
3 or 4 hours for each one of those individual chases.
Wow.
And that was, and so we figured which bull we're going to use. We had 40 of them for that stampede, and then I can't remember how many. We'd use it usually just one at a time, or a couple, and we had like 4 pins with about 10 in each, and I had to wake up. I was supposed to wake up every hour in the night and make sure.
You were supposed to. You didn't.
I did.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
To check on, just to make sure they're still there.
That was the liability of the.
That's like the insurance policy. Was someone had to do that.
That's it. Yeah, that was just part of the agreement. The security at this place. It used to be the Boeing aircraft facility, and now it's a movie studios in Downey Studios, and everyone is afraid of bulls.
Yeah, me included.
And I have great respect for them. I'm as afraid of them as anyone. But I have hung around world champion bull riders, and I've seen them get on the bulls, and I've been the gate man. And that's how I got my sight card, opening the gates. And
See,
for
this
bulls.
is one of those lives I'm talking about.
I was in 3 commercials one year, and they said you got to join SAG, and so I got my SAG. I got a card in my wallet that says I'm an actor. But I developed a secret on the set of Jackass 2 to where I found a broomstick, and I went. One of the electrician's trucks had some yellow tape, and I wrapped yellow tape around the end of this broomstick that I walked around like a walking stick, like a cane. And when the bulls would come near me or I needed to push them, I just raised the stick up like the cowboys do with a shock stick.
Oh, it looked like a cattle prod.
It looked like a cattle prod, and I would go zzz. I just go zzz. That sound, and these guys, the bulls thought they knew what it was.
Yeah,
and they would just circle around me. I never told Knoxville or any of those guys. They just saw. This fucking
Randy's
Randy's
eating out there, eating out of the palm of your hand.
He's a fucking bull worshiper,
Yeah.
Whisperer,
Yeah. Jesus. He's like, from what I understand from Knoxville, he's like so. I mean, obviously he's a pretty fearless, brave guy, but especially around bulls, he's like more than anyone. He's like, just down to get. Did he seem that day the most fearless around the bulls as far as getting hit by the bull?
He was scared shitless, and so what was really funny about that scene, that 2 or 3 days we filmed there, and the scene of him being knocked through the glass window was the very last. It was the opening of the movie, but it was the very last that they'd filmed. They'd already filmed the entire movie, and the reason was because he knew he was going to get hurt. And he was going to sacrifice himself for the opening of the movie. He knows I'm going to get fucking hurt bad, and so
the whole movie had been shot already.
The whole movie had been shot, and that was the last shot of the 3 days. That was going into the evening of the 3rd day of those shootings. I was there for 2 nights and 3 days. Then they had this set builder build that window out of balsa wood and candy glass, and we had the bull in the backyard of this house, and that was the only house that had an interior.
Right.
And so we ran the bull through these panels, through the back door, and through the laundry room and the kitchen, the dining room, and he's by the front door where the window was. They took the window of the set house out and put this candy glass window in there. So he's standing in front of it, and as the bull's coming down the the lane in the kitchen, and he sees it coming through the back door, and he had the timing down to where he says, "Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass." And at that time, the bull hits him. Well, when the bull hit him, he flinched, and it knocked him right through the window, and it was fucking perfect and everything. But he goes, "I flinched, man. I want to take this hit without any kind of
Jesus.
any kind of flinch." And so
Because they did it in a slow-mo, or was this a big slow-mo intro, or not slow
no, it
motion?
was regular. It was
Regular, okay.
because he was speaking,
Okay.
But he did it. He had a flinch to him.
Okay.
On the first take.
But when it hits him, they don't cut to it, like it doesn't
It
slow
was
down
right through.
or something?
Well,
Okay.
it was shot different, through the window.
Sure.
All this stuff, but the basic thing was his face. His face, and he gets hit.
Gotcha.
You see the bullet.
Okay, so
coming
he
in on it.
winced at it. So he did it again. How many more times? One more time?
He did it again. He says, "I'm not going to flinch this time. Build it again." Guy spends an hour or two putting this window back together, and it came right down to it, and everything worked perfect. He said the same thing, and he did it again. And he just went, "No! Can you guys please do it again?" It's getting dark, it's getting later in the afternoon and everything and stuff. And the guy looks at the balsa wood and then caulk and everything he's putting it together with, and he I'll try it. We'll see. Please put it together. I'm going to do it this time for sure. And it was the third one, and he didn't get hurt the first two times. He's going, I walked away. It was like nothing. I can do it again. Like, I want to get hurt. Like, yeah, this time I'm not going to flinch. The third take, perfect. That was the one they used.
Wow. No flinch?
No flinch.
Did he break anything, or how did?
No, he
Wow.
got knocked right. It must have hurt, but he didn't break anything. Jesus. And he got knocked silly right through the window, and I was on the outside.
Jesus, wait, hold on. I think something's weird with your mic. It's giving me a little bit of.
Hey, hello.
Let's see. All right, just try not to touch the cord. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
We're not as professional as the Wild Ride around here,
Yeah. So
Wow. Okay,
wow.
cool. And so then on that shoot, you met Steve.
I met Steve. We got along.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he's the wild, crazy guy, and
Sure.
all this stuff. And I directed. I was a part of all the stunts in that the bull thing. But I actually set up and kind of directed the one with Dave England in the trash can.
Okay. Part of that intro sequence.
Yeah, part
Okay,
of that
gotcha.
intro where he runs, everybody runs. They had their different ways of going, and he jumped into the trash can and he was scared shitless there. He didn't want to poke his head out. I said, "You got to poke. The bull has to know you're there. You got to taunt the bull." And then we had to do that over and over again. And I'd heard that I'd heard how he had lost one of his testicles.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told, so I made up this story to Dave. I said, that bull sees you, he'll go right for your ball.
You're a ball buster there.
Yeah. And he got, I said, "You got your cup, right? You're wearing your cup, right? You got to have your cup, right?" No. And I said, "Oh, you should." He sent somebody down to Big Five and they bought it.
Oh, my
He bought him
God.
a catcher's cup.
Wow.
He bought it, hook, line, and
Wow.
sinker, and so
Oh, my
it was
gosh.
great. Anyways, and so, and we had to do that one over and over again. The bull's getting tired, and what am I doing here? And we got to hit the trash can. So finally, it worked to where he was sticking out and got it.
Gosh,
And
that makes me want to rewatch everything.
I know. I want to
see
rewatch
them
this
all.
whole
I haven't
sequence.
seen-
Yeah.
I do too. I haven't seen it in years.
I haven't seen any of the Jackass movies in quite a while. I mean, I
Yeah.
see the clips pretty often because sometimes we use them for
Right. Right.
So I've actually seen, especially the TV show. I never watched it really growing up, but now I've seen a good amount of it through.
And I can't remember which one Steve was in. Was it the pool or in that one?
In that
In
intro,
that
I
thing?
don't know. I can't rember either.
One
I
of
can't
those-
really picture it much. I picture Wee Man getting hit,
Right.
but I can't
I
really.
was on that, and I almost played the mailman, but it was like. But what was really cool, they had one bull out of the 40 that was a killer, and it was the smallest bull of all, a Mexican fighting bull, and he's got these sharp horns that go out, and this was a psycho bull. We were all warned by the owner of that bull, watch out, you cannot control this bull. We'll rip you a new one, and so there was this electrician's truck, I think it was, this little Toyota with a bunch of equipment and stuff on parked in one of the driveways off the side. And I told the guy with that truck, I said, watch out. If this bull breaks free, don't run, because he'll see you and run after you. Just be still behind the boat, behind the truck. And the bull ended up breaking free and was looking for somebody to rip up. This guy took off.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I'm going, just stay, just go around the other side of your truck.
Right. Keep the truck
Keep
between
the truck.
you and the bull.
And he ran for the garage, to get to the house, and the bull, and, just took him down.
Oh,
ran
my
him over.
God.
It was funnier and shit. But that was the bull that took the door off the station wagon and got inside the car.
Okay.
Remember that?
I can't even picture that.
We're due for a little movie night.
Yeah.
Jackass movie night.
That one, and he's, you could just see how mean that bull is, because he just put his head down and he just ripped the door. The door was taken off anyways. That was part of it, but it worked perfect. Jumped in the car going after.
That was. Jesus. Okay, so
I met Steve.
So okay, yeah. So
and I remember taking a picture of his back, because he had his unique tattoo.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
His face on his back.
Right. And so we talked a little bit and all this stuff, and these guys they were offering me beers and stuff, and I go, no, there's a reason why I'm here. I don't drink. Sober. Like, how long? I said, like 3.5 years. Something, whatever it was.
And at the time, telling those guys you're sober, they're like, what is
What's
that? Yeah.
I don't even know if I just said, no, I just drink. I wasn't going, no, I'm sober, you ought to try it.
You just said, I don't
drink.
drink.
Just don't drink.
Yeah.
No, thanks. That's why I'm here. I've got a job to do.
Right.
That's all it was. So 2 nights later was the rap party, or it was like maybe the next night, within a couple of days, there was a rap party, and they rented a club off Hollywood Boulevard upstairs, and it was a big bar, and it was everybody that worked on the movie was there, and all the guys and everything. And Steve and I just sort of hit it off. We just saw each other and like, yeah. And he's like, and he was trying to get me drunk or something. Let's fucking party.
Because Steve at this time was nowhere near sober.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No.
This is like
he's full on. He's full on party zone.
Yeah.
And he had a porn star style girl with him, and he didn't pay her an ounce of attention. It was all with me and the guys. And he just hanging over me, buying me another drink, and I'm going, it was Red Bull and vodka, and I'm just going, just Red Bull. And I had about 5 or 6 Red Bulls with him.
Wow.
And so my party that I went to, my group, my wife and my buddy, the bull riders and all those guys, they all burned out around midnight, and I was just going.
Yeah, you get for a few more days. Right.
Let's keep going. So,
wow.
So I helped close down the place with Steve, and it was fun.
That's amazing. You're one of the unique, like within our Steve-O crew. You and Tommy, I think, are the few that knew not sober Steve.
Not sober Steve.
Because Scott even, I think, Scott met him casually before.
No, I don't think so.
But I never did. I mean,
no, they met
most of us never knew
right.
Fucked up Steve. It's like, we see the footage and it's almost this like mythological version of Steve that we know, but you met the
I met,
the crazy Steve.
So then we were friends, and we didn't do much together or anything, but we were
got together,
friends.
Drink Red Bull.
Yeah. We were just friends, and stuff, and my buddy Stevie, Stevie.
I met Stevie the other night. He came over for dinner
for the dinner.
Yeah. Stevie G.
Stevie G. He's this guy's intelligence is off the charts. He's
it's a helicopter for those wondering.
Brilliant guy, entertainment attorney, and he's one of my best friends that I went to. I'd see him in my meetings in the morning and stuff, and we played tennis. He's a big tennis star. He plays tennis every day, and and I told him I could beat him. And he didn't think so. I said, let's play for pink slips. So
wow.
So anyway,
what's a pink slip? Like your car?
Yeah, cars. Yeah, my car against your car. Let's play.
You did do that?
I was.
Okay, but you were that confident.
You were
that confident.
I see. Yeah,
I wish I was that confident about anything.
Oh yeah, let's play for pink slips.
No, I could. Yeah,
you could sacrifice your
I've
car.
never thought about framing it, but you know what? I've got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you should be like my car against yours.
I'm going to think about that. I'm going to think about my move, my strategy.
I've
here.
done some tennis hustling.
Okay.
For just that. But that was
You hear about it
sort of
in
a
like
joke.
pool and poker. I've never heard. I've never thought about hustling in a
tennis
tennis
hustler,
match.
yeah. Like what you play kind of bad, and then you're like, hey, let's do one more for cars.
Not quite like that, but I did. I remember I played these two guys at Tahoe, two at once. I said, "You guys, two, you guys are both good. You can beat me easy. Let's play." Okay, and we played for $5, I think. $5 for them, and it was $10 for me, like that.
Sure.
And I won. And I said, "Well, let's change the rules. Let's I'll play the different lines, and we'll double or nothing." I won that. And,
Wow.
and then it's like, okay, let's I'll give you the first point of every game, and double or nothing. And we got up, and now I'm up like $60.
Wow.
After a bunch of these are
Wow.
just good friends. So it's like,
All right, well, that's a good segue into the first thing that was told to me about you is this is Randy. He's the nude tennis champion. You're a nudist, which I've never seen you naked. Every time I've seen you, you've been fully clothed. Are you still active in the nudist community?
I own a trailer, a park model trailer at a nudist resort.
Okay.
And there are 2 golf carts parked out front, and a work shed in the backyard. There's like an awning. There's a bedroom, a dining room, kitchen, living room, awning. It's a big place. It's 12.
So it's like a vacation home for you.
Yeah. So
and
it's like 70 miles from
for
here.
Your balls.
Everybody thinks you just run around with your balls.
I would think so. As soon I picture you. You're like, we're going to the cabin or whatever, to the trailer, and as soon as you get there, the clothes come off. No, it's a nudist colony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can come off when you drive in the door and you see people walking around naked. That's it. You drive by a bunch of
So
stuff.
when did you join this nudist colony? Or is it a nudist colony? Is that
no,
the
it's
right
not
word?
a colony is for ants and lepers.
Okay.
It's a nudist resort.
Nudist resort for tennis players and
ping pong players.
Oh, yeah.
Was this in Lake Tahoe that you first started doing that? Or
No.
did it come before?
No, it was when I first experienced nudism.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, this is like
I was in France.
there you go. I was gonna say it's not a very American
No,
tradition,
yeah.
so that makes sense.
It wa-
France.
I went to Europe. I taught school for a year, and one of the teachers I taught with said, knew where I was going, said, "You've got to go to Saint-Tropez and go to this certain beach." So I found Saint-Tropez, just down there, and it was pretty much like Southern California, a beach on the Mediterranean, and it's this long, couple miles long beach kind of thing, and there were all these clubs, but every 100 yards of a different beach club that rented out lawn chairs and stuff, and for the wealthy and stuff. And I was a hippie kind of thing, by myself. Just walked down the shoreline, past all these clubs, and then there's the public beach, and it was free and easy. And I went down and lay down, and it was in the morning kind of, and I'd gotten up at dawn and walked a bunch, and I just went to sleep. And maybe it was 9 o'clock. I woke up about 10:30 or something. People were there. People were showing up at the beach, and my head was on my towel. I looked over, and I see this family about 20 feet from me, spreading out their stuff, and they peeled off, and then they kept peeling off, and then everything was off, and it was like, what the fuck, like there's a man.
I don't think I'm in Kansas
There's
anymore.
a man.
Yeah,
There's
talk
a
about
man,
spreading out their stuff.
with like 8, 10, 12-year-old children, and then everybody runs in the water and stuff. And I sat up and I looked over. There's a naked guy over there. There's a naked girl, and I didn't even notice. Everybody was naked. I'm the only one with a suit on.
That
And how
was the
long did that
first
suit stay on?
experience.
Well, I did think about it for a little bit. And I thought, I don't know these people. They don't know me. Well, no big deal. And once it was gone, and you blend in, and then after a little while, you don't even look at naked bodies, and you don't look at yourself, and you don't know you're naked, but it's free, and it's just you're just getting the sun and the water and everything. It's just natural.
And it just
So no distractions. You don't get distracted.
It wasn't sexual.
But isn't it not even in a sexual way? I have some friends who like to, ditch their bathing suits, go naked when
Right.
they're like in the hot tub or the pool or whatever.
Right.
and it's distracting to me. I don't know.
Oh, do you? Yeah, sure. At first, it's still, it's
Take some practice, perhaps.
It's nice,
Rip it off like a Band-Aid. You got to get naked with them. That's the only way
Yeah.
I don't
to
like
win.
it though. I don't like being naked. I have not felt.
She's the opposite of a
I
nudist.
don't feel free. At least at this point in my life, I've never felt free being naked in front of complete strangers.
But we should maybe try it. 'Cause
I
it might
think I need to
might
go
be a
to
healthier
France.
experience.
Right.
Yeah, we
I'm
should
going to France.
It's easier in front of complete strangers.
I
That
would
makes sense.
agree. That makes sense to me.
And then because I've got my clothed friends and I have my nudist friends. I know them naked and they know me naked, and I've got in my town people, and it's kind of difficult to mix
I see.
that too.
Yeah.
And I don't want to flaunt. I'm not a flashing, flaunter of myself. I don't like.
Right, like if you were to walk into this house naked,
No, yeah.
it'd be a different thing than getting naked at the resort.
Exactly.
Because it's
Because of the context. Is
the
different.
context.
that whole thing.
It's all about context
I
when it
would
comes to
say
nudity.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what year is that? That you're in France?
71.
71. And then did you come back and so
came-
how did you land into find a resort and find a
Well,
community?
well, what happened was that I lived at Lake Tahoe after that for 18 years, and there was a nude beach up there. I had this one girlfriend who said, "Hey, let's go to the beach over
Where's
here."
the nude beach there? Has it since gone dry?
No, it's
Still
still
active.
there.
Okay.
Still active. It's a secluded part of the East Shore up towards the incline. And it's kind of hard to get to. It's beautiful. We went there a few years ago. It's still really neat. It's
So on the Nevada side.
on the Nevada side. Yeah.
Gosh, it's so
Walk
beautiful
down.
up there. I think that just could be about the prettiest place in this country.
And that was kind of great. This girl goes, well, let's go. She and two of her girlfriends and two of us guys. Just all strangers. Except I knew her. Piloted her Volkswagen bus, and we drove over there. I'm going to take you to my secret beach. Got over. We just got down. And her clothes just came off, and of all the girls, and it's like, the other guy and I, yeah, all right, I've been, I handle this.
It's a scary one though. That lake water is quite cold. It doesn't do any fellas any
Yeah,
favors.
it's not bad in the summer.
I guess it warms
it's
up.
tolerable. It's not warm,
Yeah.
but it's not too bad.
Wow, do you ever swim with bears out there? I've seen some videos lately of them just going down to the lake for a swim.
There weren't that many bears when I was there.
Really?
There's a lot more now.
Interesting. I
So-
wonder how that happened.
So I ended up moving to Hollywood, to the Hollywood Hills, to build a house. I kept a house at Tahoe, and so I'd go up there for 1 week out of the month and come down and work for 3. And I lived down here. Finally gave that up after a few years. But at South Lake Tahoe. I had 1,000 friends, and I probably had 20 really good friends. 100 acquaintances, but I knew 1,000 people.
Wow.
I was a waiter at a popular restaurant, stuff, and everybody went to that place. And so over the years, I just developed a lot of people that I knew. I came to L.A., it's 100 times bigger, and I knew nobody. I had to, it was my life was stale. It was done. I wasn't at the beach. And a buddy of mine from college, right at the end of college, he came back to San Diego with these stories. He said he helped build this nudist place up in Topanga. And that was always in the back of my mind about that place. I bet that's fun. And then I looked it up, and approached my wife. Said let's go check that out. She said, I was there a couple times with old boyfriends or something. It's nothing to. I said, I want to check it out. So we went up and took the tour and spent the day there. Didn't meet anybody really, but it had a tennis court. And I did not bring my tennis racket. I said, I want to go back and play tennis. Those people look like they're having fun because we were off in a corner by ourselves. And
Sure. You're just kind of watching, observing.
Yeah. So she went back with me, I think, once, and then, then I started going by myself. There was, she'd come and stuff. Then I joined that place, and I developed a bunch of friends and picked up my old sport of tennis. I had given it up I hadn't played in years like that,
You grew up playing tennis. You just haven't really done it
I
much.
wanted to play football, but I grew about, like you, I grew a foot one summer.
Too tall for football, huh?
Too tall and skinny, didn't gain any weight,
wow.
just gained, and the football coach said, we've got a great tennis program here.
For me, it was similar, but I was too much of a pussy for football.
Oh man.
And the tennis team wouldn't have me either. I was in the marching band.
I think,
That was where I found my footing.
What'd you play?
I played the drums.
I was gonna say,
Percussion. I did those like the quads, the 4 drums.
Oh yeah.
Well, the first year I did
snare?
the bass drum. I had this big drum like this.
Yeah.
And then the other 3 years I was this. I was section leader. It's not a big deal, but
all have our places in this world, don't we?
Yeah, we all have our places in this world. Okay, so then there's like a tennis contest there, right? Because you're a nude tennis champion.
Well, I was playing there a lot. There was only one court up there. You know, we were playing a bunch. You know, and I after about 3 or 4 years, my skills had come back. And in high school, I was the worst player on my team, but I had the best record against other schools.
How does that work? Oh, you're just a good competitor. Like you don't choke under pressure or something.
I would just find a way, like Brad Gilbert said, win ugly. You know, just win. I was very fast.
You would just get naked. The guy couldn't handle it. He didn't know what to do.
I'm tall. I had long arms, and I could just run down every ball and just get it back.
Wow.
Run down, just get the ball back. Last ball in wins. It was my game.
Sure. Okay. So not a lot of offensive moves.
Right.
You're just playing defense. He's going to make a mistake.
Exactly.
You're waiting for him to make a mistake.
And
that's how Smiley plays ping pong.
And I think 3 guys broke their rackets against me in league play my first year.
Wow.
There were wooden rackets back then.
Wow.
And we only had one. Well, nobody had 2 rackets, I don't think.
There's no spare. Yeah.
And then these guys would get pissed off and break their rackets, and I just go, yeah. And I made the team. When I started playing, it was a great coach, and there was a huge turnout to make there was 8 on the varsity and 8 on the junior varsity. There was 16 really on our traveling team, and there were 30 guys going out for tennis. And so I'm like number 30 when I walk out and I sign up at the bottom. And so then you play each other to work up this ladder to make the top 16. And the last day, so we've got 3 or 4 months, everybody playing each other and all that stuff. And then the last day before our first league game, actually it was preseason because we went to play a couple of teams that weren't, league stuff. But I had to play this guy, Vic Norton, who was a bully.
Oof, shout out to Vic Norton.
And I was number 17, he was number 16. And John Norton was number 1 on the varsity. And so we have a match to see who's going to be the last guy on the junior varsity team. and it was a 2-set match and going out to the court. There's just the 2 of us. There's no referees or anything. Just 2 of us in a can of balls, and he said, "I'm going to win." And I said, I'm going to try and win. He says, "No, I'm going to win. And you're going to let me win, or I'm going to beat the shit out of you."
Oh, wow.
And he was much bigger and stronger and badder and all this stuff, and I was just this weak little 15-year-old. And we went out, and I barely won the first set. He says, "I'm going to win the next 2 sets," and I kept going on and on and on. It was close, and when I won the second set, there was no handshake. I took off running, and he was right
Game
behind
point,
me.
and we're gone.
Yeah, through the gate and out, and I was on the track, and he was right behind me. He was going for me, and I saw a coach or something way to the distance, and I just ran towards him, and I got halfway there, and he'd stopped.
Wow,
that was it.
Wow,
you really earned a spot on the team.
And so then, when you start playing at the Nudist
right.
resort, well, is there like some national or global governing body of nudism?
Yes. Yeah.
So each nudist resort are usually sort of connected by one.
It's called ANR, the American Association for Nude Recreation.
Amazing.
And so I went to, this was in about 90, 91 or something when I started going to Topanga. That's it. Place started closing. Well, it was over for a number of years. But in 94, they had this thing they built as the Nude Olympics. And I went and spent the weekend there camping, and I entered every event I could. I won the ping pong. Nice. I won men's singles, men's doubles, mixed doubles. I won all these, and swimming. I won one of those things. I won 9 medals. You saw that picture?
I've seen the picture. I'll show you the picture.
You saw that picture. They gave it. So I come back with
He's just draped in medals with this
Amazing.
beautiful naked body. But he's covering his junk with his tennis racket.
right. That picture was taken at home when I came. Saved that.
It's a good shot. It's a really good shot.
When Steve said, "You got any pictures of you playing, naked tennis? I need it." He didn't tell me for what.
I think, was that for the Billboard video?
Yeah.
Because
When
we
he
were
was
like,
putting over-
Randy, who's a new tennis champion. It was just like a quick thing we threw in, but then we show that photo.
Steve, he needed some. I said, the cameras aren't allowed there. We don't take pictures of us playing tennis. Sometimes with our trophies or something, later, and usually it's cropped or whatever. I said, "Oh, I got a shot. I got one for you."
It's the perfect shot. It's so good.
Yeah, and so then over the years, we've got this one big contest, big tennis tournament at our club, and I won it. In 10 years, I won it like 8 times with different partners.
Wow.
So my name is on this board, and I'm by no means the best tennis player out there, but I have the best record. My name's on that trophy more times than anybody.
You just know how to win.
With different people. I know how to pick a good partner. That's half the tennis.
There you go.
That's
half
of
a
it.
partner's tennis, at least.
And so I had a very good partner. The last few years I did it and stuff.
And when you play, are you naked?
Not usually.
You're not naked.
No.
Yet it's nude tennis.
Yeah. You put your shorts on, you go on the court.
And you got to wear shoes, I assume.
You have to wear shoes.
Okay. So it's topless.
Often,
tennis.
most of the time, a shirt because it's in the sun and all that.
Uh-huh.
And good athletic tennis.
So
shorts.
you're fully dressed like a tennis player.
Just like a
it's
tennis
not
player.
nude
Ironic.
at all.
I have
it's
a
just on a nudist resort.
On nudist
is.
But
property.
there's nothing nude about it.
So playing sports at a nudist resort, you're allowed to wear protection, kind of, it's called, So, women can wear sports bras and stuff on the volleyball court and what.
Sophia, lay down.
Sophia, you can't go out right now because
Can't you see we're in the middle of a show?
we're doing a whole thing here. Can you just chill out?
Just lay down. Maybe I'll let her out in a little bit.
So when you're near the court and all that stuff, and the rule up there is when the majority of people are naked, you have to be naked, and so you can't. It's not clothing optional, even though some people never get naked. It's amazing, And,
But they're part of the nudist
Like me.
resort.
yeah, they live there.
Yeah, that would be
That would be
Christine.
me.
If I drag her to a nudist resort.
I'd just be like, hey,
Buttoning
staring
that
at everybody's
button.
nipples and just completely dressed.
But it's funny, the one who's not naked notices the naked people a little more.
I'm sure, yeah.
It's funny. We all, and all the old seasoned guys, we're all, we're on the court. New one by the pool, check this out. There's a new cute girl, and that's an eyeful, and we'll all go get an eyeful, and y'all check it out, but you don't stare,
Okay.
Everybody looks, but nobody stares.
That's a fair rule. I mean, I think that rule goes for society anyway. Be like, dude, the new librarian is so hot, and then everyone's like, oh wow, yeah, right,
Yeah.
dude or chick,
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. People, yeah.
You can look, but you can't stare. It's rude
Don't
to
gawk.
stare.
Don't
gawk.
And
Gawk.
if we get a new guy, that comes in, takes the tour, maybe he wants to join or whatever, and if he's sitting around staring, he's gawking, he's gone.
Yeah, he didn't make
Is there
the
any
cut.
hierarchy for the guy with the biggest dick? Because in a room full of 20 guys with clothes on, we don't know who has the biggest dick. We can make guesses, but we don't know.
We know
At a
how to read
nudist
that
colony,
big dick energy, though.
We know
all
for
know.
sure
We
who
all
has
know.
the biggest and who has the smallest dick. Does that sort of rank any sort of
There'll be 30.
power structure?
The power structure. There'll be 30 guys.
Okay.
One guy will have almost nothing.
Okay.
25 guys will have the same dick.
Sure.
A couple of guys will have a larger one, and one guy will have a huge one.
And the huge one, is he like, if someone has to be in charge, is it him? Is
No.
it the big dick guy?
No.
No. Okay. So you just know, but it doesn't count for anything. It doesn't get you anything.
No.
Just kind of bonus points.
Historically, it's the guy with the littlest dick who feels the need to take control.
There you go.
Oh, there you go. I
That's
thought you were
usually
going to
how it
say
goes.
there's one guy with a small dick, 25 guys with normal dicks, and then me with the giant. That's what I thought you were going.
No, it's Jim.
It's Jim. Everybody knows it. It's Jim.
It's Jim.
You just can't beat Jim. There's no beating
No.
Jim. Wow. That's funny.
Hi, Jim. Nice to meet you. Your reputation, your schlong precedes you. Your reputation precedes you.
Have you been here for long? For long?
Right.
I love it. I always feel feel like I would make a joke, but don't quite get there, and then Paul kind of like gets it, to the across the finish line. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That was good.
You're welcome.
That was
That's
really
what I'm here
good.
for. Try to be a good co-host, All right. Wow.
When
Fascinating.
did you mentioned your wife? How'd you meet your wife? How long have you guys been together?
I had a sailboat on Lake Tahoe. Okay, that's 22-footer. And
Cue the romance.
And I had a girl, a real close girlfriend, she who was sometimes a girlfriend, and most of the time she'd fix me up with her girlfriends. So she's my really good friend.
Really good
and
pal.
she's a cocktail waitress at one of the casinos up there. So and a lot of my girlfriends up there were cocktail waitresses. So I drank for free wherever I went. I'd know where to go and just hang out and get a free drink. And so that was easy and stuff. And over the years, she was just a good friend. So she was going sailing on a Sunday afternoon on the lake, and she said, "Can I bring my girlfriend?" I said, "Yeah, sure," and her boyfriend. So my wife and her boyfriend were sailing with me on my boat, and he was a younger guy, a big stud, a good-looking guy, but a nerd. He just didn't have it. He was in the Navy, but he didn't know what an anchor was. That kind of thing.
Okay.
So I could tell that wasn't going too far, and I don't know. I can't remember how we kind of clicked, but a couple nights later, I heard that she was on her own or something, and I pursued her.
Lovely.
Wow. And so was getting with her what made you move to Hollywood?
Yeah, she was from Hollywood.
She was from Hollywood.
She had had a job like Lux. She had a production company.
Okay.
And she did the art and was casting and and arranged everything, and she and her partner had this production.
Nice.
And
thank you, Christine.
and that impressed me. She had her stuff.
Right.
She had her stuff together.
She gets her shit done.
Yeah, could get her stuff. And she had she was living that summer up at Lake Tahoe, kind of. Her old boyfriend was an old friend of mine who had moved and was down for 7 years down in Hollywood with her. And he broke up with her, and she was kind of following him up there. A different guy than this one on the boat.
I see.
But an old friend of mine who he was a cowboy guitar player and entertainer who shared a lot of girls. We had a lot of mutual girlfriends.
Okay, an Eskimo brother of yours.
Eskimo brother, and we were
through and through.
We were friends and we were adversaries at the same time.
Right. Sure.
And so somehow it just run in the same circles. And she was a couple of weeks later. She was living with me.
And does she still work in production, or
no.
She retired?
Yeah, they kind of let that go. It's a younger girls thing. They did it for a number of years.
It's kind of a grind, huh? I mean,
yeah, it's a lot
the
of
production schedule in general is like taxing. I mean,
really,
you get no sleep. You're doing long hours. You no routine. Like week to week, it's always different. So I can get that. When you moved to Laurel Canyon, or did you move right to Laurel Canyon?
Yeah, she rented a house. She leased a house, and she sublet it when she was at Tahoe. So we came back down to this house she leased, and it was an older woman that owned it. It was a really old house, a block away from where I live now. And she offered to buy it, and the lady goes, "Yeah, I'll sell it to you. How much?" And she said, "Oh, how about $105,000?" Lady goes, "Oh, that's too much." About $100,000. No, that's too much. How about $95,000? Okay.
She's not the best negotiator. This
No,
lady.
the lady came down $15,000 for
Jeez, wow.
something like So we bought this house, and I spent a year on it, working three weeks out of the month, and then go back to my house at Tahoe.
I see.
And after a year, we sold that house, and I made like $60,000.
Cool.
Took that cash, and now we need a house. We're homeless, so we look for another job. Let's move into another old house. I'll build it up, sell it.
Flip it, yeah.
Flip it. So we found a house around the corner where my house is. I was going to live there 1 year, and that was in
And
'87.
you stuck.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, 87.
In January of '87, I bought a truck. Still have it.
Amazing.
Good year for you.
I bought an '87 truck, '87 Toyota truck, and it's got 230,000 miles. It's my work truck. I've had several other vehicles in the meantime, but that's been my main thing.
Wow. And what did you tell me about your house? It was like originally...
Charlie Chaplin built my house
right, for his mistress.
for the mistress.
Oh yeah, I remember this story. Like
Yeah, I think after you told me, I was like,
Yeah.
Randy told me the craziest story.
And so when I got the house, the stairs were broken, some windows were broken, stuff. And an actor owned it, and apparently partied too much because there was a big hot tub way up on the hill behind, and speakers up there, and a phone line up to it, so you could tell there's some real partying
Nice.
happening there. And so he spent his money partying up his nose and whatever, and not to the bank, and lost the house.
Damn.
So we bought the house we heard on a Sunday morning that it fell out of escrow. And so we made the same offer that they'd accepted from somebody who didn't qualify. And I took, and since I had this cash from, I took like 40,000, down cash,
Right, big
right?
down payment, yeah.
Yeah, right there. They accepted it within a minute. And so we owned it like that afternoon.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, 40,000 down on like...
$122,000 house.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a down payment.
$122,000 house. I want a
In Laurel Canyon.
$122,000 house.
With a hot tub up on the top of the hill. Is the hot tub still up there?
gosh.
No, there's a deck up there now. The hot tub, we filled it up, and it had an old heater and stuff. It didn't hold water. It leaked like a sieve. And it was
wasn't
this redwood thing. And so,
Yeah.
And later on, I put a hot tub that lower, but the backyard, that's really neat way up there. It's cool.
Nice, man. I want to come to your house sometime.
Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah, have you done just like a tremendous amount of work on it since?
Oh, yeah. So the houses it was built like in the late 30s. And they're all little rooms like this one,
Right,
And this
tiny.
this probably was 2 rooms at one time, And
Right.
they're all small rooms.
Okay.
And there'll be 3 or 4 rooms right next to one another that I just opened it up, put a big beam in like this, and skylights, and then took the flat ceiling, vaulted it up to the roof line, and put skylights in so I could see my backyard from there and everything. And made one big room out of everything, like Steve's, Made one huge room out of 4.
Nice.
And somebody in the 70s added an upstairs and a bedroom and a bathroom, so from what Charlie had. And there's a 50-foot deck in the front over the street and looks over the canyon store, Laurel
Like
Canyon?
50 square
I
foot.
have not been over there, but I know of the county store there.
The
Country
canyon
store?
country store.
Country store.
My house overlooks the hills across the street and behind.
Wow.
I get this vast view from my house that I don't have any curtains.
The Nudist doesn't
Yeah.
care about curtains.
No,
Fancy that.
nobody can see me anyways because everybody's a mile away.
That's
All the
amazing.
houses over at Mount Olympus is everywhere, so it's a really amazing view. So we fell in love with that instead of selling it.
Not to be tacky, but I can't help wonder how much you could probably sell that house for now.
Well,
way over 120.
One of the-
122.
Well, one of the houses nearby, I know, just sold for $900,000, and it doesn't have a view. It doesn't have the size of my house. It has a similar backyard, but not nearly. And
Or the history, you would
The
clean
history?
up.
You
yeah,
would
so
clean
I
up.
was in my house in it for 5 years before one of the neighbors told me about the history. And,
Oh, wow.
And in the meantime, I'd found all these gin bottles and tobacco tins and Listerine bottles under the floor and in the
Wow.
dirt and everything. Really neat stuff from.
And so the story it was
cool.
like Charlie Chaplin, because the studios are right down the hill.
Yeah.
And so Charlie Chaplin built a house right up the hill for his mistress.
Right.
So that if he had like a minute, he could run
There
up
you go.
here, have sex with his mistress, and come back and go back to
And
work.
she was famous in her own right. She was Una O'Neill, and her father
That's a
was
familiar name.
was a playwright or something, photographer.
So, but she was like a Hollywood socialite.
16 years old, and she had
Oh,
been
shit.
with. She'd already been with an older established guy, Salinger.
Oh, J.D. Salinger.
J.D. Salinger. She was with him. Left him for Charlie. And
No wonder
then
he was so moody.
Chaplin?
Yeah.
Or
No,
Salinger?
Salinger.
Salinger,
Who
yeah.
is J.D.
Oh.
Salinger? What?
He didn't
What
he do
is he
the Great Gatsby?
No, what, wrote it or did the movie?
Wrote it.
No, that's
He was a writer.
Fitzgerald, isn't it?
He was a writer.
What?
Oh,
That was
J.D.
Salinger.
Salinger. Well, you're probably right. When it comes to books, well, what am I talking about?
I
don't
don't
know
know.
shit.
Or maybe that was Scott F. Fitzgerald. Maybe that was Scott
That's Scott.
Fitzgerald.
He was the writer.
I don't
He
know.
was the actor.
I definitely know that name.
Yeah, here, Google it.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, so we heard, studios are nearby, and we're literally a half a mile from the end of Hollywood Boulevard, and at the start of Laurel Canyon as it goes up and over to the valley, and so it's simple for him, and he chose this lot because it was secluded, everything is up above the street, and he built a deck, you can't see it, and it was a
Perfect house for a nudist.
perfect.
It's amazing.
For sneaking around.
By the
I love
way,
it.
Catcher in the Rye. That's
Catcher in
J.D.
the
Salinger.
Rye. There
Catcher
it
in the Rye.
is. Jesus. I'm an English major. That's actually shameful that I got that wrong. But shame on all your houses. Shame. You win
Wow,
some, you
so
lose
cool.
some.
Did you watch there was a couple documentaries that came out last year about Laurel Canyon, like in the 60s when it
I
was.
just saw it the other night
There-
at
did-
Steve's.
which
Echo,
one
was
Echo,
that?
Echo in the Canyon.
Was
There's
that the
another
one with,
that we preferred,
Yeah,
I
there's
think.
one Jacob Dylan did.
That's it.
There's a better one.
There's one called Laurel Canyon, A Place in Time.
Right.
That is fantastic.
It's better.
I got to see that.
It's really good.
Is it on Netflix or something?
We watched it on something.
It was
Steve's?
like, no,
Amazon.
I
I
think it
bet
was
Steve
like
has whatever
HBO.
it's on.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Because we're both going over there
Okay,
later,
you'll find it.
I'll help you try and find it.
So the Echo in the Canyon, Jacob Dylan. My house is in that 3 times.
Oh, wow.
You can see it from the.
Okay.
from
No,
the-
not
cool.
that somebody lived there.
No, but you can see my street, and you can see where my from a little ways away from a drone view.
Wow. Do you know if, like, after Chaplin, did anyone, like, in the 60s?
His kids owned it.
Okay.
Up into the 60s.
Okay. And did any musicians during the 60s, or you don't know?
4 houses down the street. I just learned this week. It was Neil Young.
Wow.
Lived at this house down the street.
Dude, what a crazy era that
And
those documentaries
And
talk
I looked
about.
straight across at Fay Ray's house.
I don't
and
know
I-
Fay Ray.
She was the blonde in the original King Kong.
Okay. Cool.
And above her house, it was the house that David Carradine built.
Wow. David Carradine from Kung Fu.
Yeah, Kung Fu guy. So I
Bill
look kind
from
of
Kill
look. It's one of the only houses that really looks so you can see me and
David
mine,
Carradine can see your dick, and that's
So
it.
he did.
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
So-
an epic spot to be.
When did you? Can I ask you about drinking and deciding not to drink?
Sure.
Or like, when did you stop drinking?
On May the 18th, 2004.
And is it safe to assume that was something that had to happen? Like you were a problem drinker, or were you just someone who's like, nah, I'm just done with it?
It was. I might have had a problem and I didn't know it, but I had reached a point where it wasn't doing anything for me.
Amazing.
And I saw myself and friends that were affected poorly by it, and then they, just like me, they drank and drank and drank. Didn't get drunk, but they were drunk. I could drink and drink and drink, and I wasn't drunk, but I was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my one of the guys I used to build houses with in Tahoe, he divorced his wife, and his wife lived in Orange County, and his kids called me up and said, my mom's in trouble, can you help her? And I reached out, and she came up, and we partied a little bit, and I got her away from the guy she was with, and she'd gone through over $100,000 off the divorce settlement in meth and vodka.
Oh no!
Wow.
And and the guy she was with was controlling and spending all that, and she was almost broke and going to kill herself because when she was down to nothing, she was going to walk off the Seal Beach Pier. And so I helped her. Now I didn't need help, but she did, and I saw her get sober, accidentally, and she was working for me. I was rehabbing apartments that we've managed. Put her to work, and I saw a complete difference. And I said, she got this chip. What's this chip? How'd you get that? 30 days, 30 days of sobriety. And she's living in a sober living place. And so what is it, what do you have to do to live there? You have to go to a meeting a day. What's a meeting? An AA meeting, and I know I've heard about him. I tuned him out, you know. Because
Right.
I remember years before, I was forced to get on the phone with a guy from AA, you know, and he was just like me, trying to talk me into going to it. And I had way more things I wanted to do than get square. I just figured all those people are
Bunch of nerds.
a whole bunch of, nobody's. Man. I got some living to do, you know.
Right, yeah.
And so I rejected that guy, you know, because I remember the 90 and 90. He says, I want you to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. And at that point, I totally turned him off, you know. That was it. I'll try it, but no, not 90 and 90, you know. That was just too much. So I saw this girl, after 30 days, completely sparkle up and change her ways. And I said, you know, what do you do at the meetings? You got to go to one. Well, which one? They're everywhere. Well, and she said, I know one that'll fit you. And so I said, okay, let's go tomorrow. How about tomorrow? And she didn't believe me. And I said, I'll be there. What time is it? It starts at 9. So my wife dropped me off, and this girl was going to pick me up and take me home. You know, at the corner outside this meeting, I'm there 15, 20 minutes early, and I watched everybody going in. And I'm hiding behind this tree, you know, about 100 feet from the door, the side door to this church meeting hall thing. And I saw everybody drive up. They look just like they could be my friends, but they're not, you know, and I want to be their friend, but I couldn't. And I'm a guy who learned no fear. I love fear because I love to face fear, and I'm afraid of anything. The bulls, surf, ski jumping, anything. I'm scared shitless, but I loved it. You know, and I just didn't want. I didn't have fear in myself at all, but I feared that room because I knew I'd have to be honest or something. Or something.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
You have to face yourself for something.
It was something, you know, that I didn't want. You know, but I want to check it out, but I can't go in there. I'm scared shitless. I was trembling, scared. Wow. I was hugging this tree, and she didn't show up. The girl. Didn't think I was going to be there, and I saw the meeting start. Everybody's laughing and clapping and laughing and all this stuff.
But from outside the window, you're looking.
I'm outside. I'm still at the corner of this, you know, of Moore Park and Rhodes, behind this tree. And I looked down, and I felt something. I looked down, and since I'm leaning onto this tree, the ants were climbing up the tree, went onto my arm, and I had this stream of ants inside my shirt and on me, because my 100% of my attention was in that door. My fear of that threshold. I had no idea that I, you know, in the minutes I'd been leaning against a tree, I was covered with ants. And I just ran down the street, stripping my shirt off, you know, killing these ants and screaming. And nobody saw that. And I didn't tell anybody that for a whole year, you know. Wow. When I got my 1 year cake, I told them 1 year ago today, this is where I was, and that's where my head was and all that. Wow. And so, you know, I called her, and she came later, and we didn't go in there. We went to another one. I went to that meeting the next day, and there were some pretty cool people in there, and I didn't drink that night. They said, just don't drink tonight, come back tomorrow. That's all you have to do. Okay, so just a little bit, you know. It's nothing real hard today. You know, and they didn't really strip me naked in front of everybody and, oh, what's wrong with you? And, you know, why are you here? And no, it's all on my terms, you know, and I just
gentle,
very gentle, and I slowly, you know, accepted myself into the room, you know, and listened, you know. That's the one thing. The one trait that I've gained through a life is learning by listening. You know, you don't learn anything by blabbing. You learn by asking, and so I learned to build. I, you know, got my friends to go slow, show me how to frame a house, show me how to do the plumbing, show me how to do the electric. Just, you know.
And because up until then you'd just done like service industry jobs mostly, being a waiter or things like that.
Yeah, I was a teacher and stuff, and but I saved my money waiting, and I bought property, and then built.
Wow.
But so I remember a couple of things, you know, people that are really wild like me, and now they're sober 10, 15 years or whatever, and they talk their story about how they got sober and what it was like then and what it's like now, and the difference, you know, and that really clicked, and I wanted that. Said, you know, after a little while, you know, everybody says, oh, I quit, I'm done, all that, you know, we're just recovering. You know, I could drink in a second, but I just, you know, accepted the challenge, You know, he said 1 out of 10 will get it. I said, I'm that one guy. Watch me. And,
Amazing.
And I remember these, my mentors on all that.
Uh-huh.
And then Stevie comes to the meeting one morning and goes, hey, one of your buddies is staying over at Las Encinas, Pasadena, where I go every Thursday night. Who? One of your buddies. Who's that, Steve-O? I said, you got to come next Thursday to the meeting. I went next Thursday night to the meeting, and we hooked up there, and became, rekindled our acquaintance. We weren't close buddies. We were friends from a distance. But then it became evident that we shared a new cause together. And I dove into helping him. And it's not something we wave to the world. Sure. We're sober now, and you guys got to do it. And all this. No, it's a man on man thing. Yeah, this is how you do it. You got to confess your sins to each other and not repeat it. That's how we learn it, by not.
Yeah, I love being around sober people. Like from working with Steve, we're not sober.
Right.
We like a good drink every now and then. Oh. Christine has a healthy relationship with alcohol than I do, but I've been really cutting back. But
I don't know. I've also questioned how healthy my relationship with alcohol is from time to time.
Yeah,
too.
and when we hear someone say like, I don't drink, we're like, oh, that sounds kind of nice. So it becomes more and more appealing. But being around sober people, I've always enjoyed. And like one thing I've noticed about him, Steve was really the first like sober guy I ever really got to know. And then obviously there's Scott and you. But I love that sober people, like if they make a mistake, it's like they have to fix that mistake so quickly. It's like they're going to apologize. As soon as they realize like, I fucked up, they're going to own it, apologize. And like I was talking to Scott about it. He's like, dude, we've done so much work to like get all this shit off our plate. Like if we put something like a fuck up back on it, like we just want it off.
If you put it in your pocket, it in your pocket, it just starts burning. It'll burn a hole in your pocket and burns your skin and all that. No, you just got it. It's a 10 step. You just have to, And I developed a phrase, that the cowboys have, and I relate it to that step. Mm-hmm. If you're going to eat crow, it's best served fresh. So,
what do they mean by that?
Well, if eating crow, it's like you talk shit, and it comes back to you. You're gonna have to apologize. You're gonna have to go. I did fuck up. I'm sorry. If you do it next week, it's gonna be kind of sour. But if you fuck up and you realize it the minute you fuck up, you just go, hey man, I'm sorry. I was wrong, and then it's fresh. Mm-hmm. It's best served fresh.
I love that. Yeah, it's a really nice mentality. Like I like everything about AA. Except for the drinking policy.
Well, Steve is one of the few that I know who has really dove into it and has really runs his life, with sobriety. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a purist.
Total purist.
I mean, he's an extreme guy.
He did 30 days. It's like going to prison for 30 days. He said, I need 30 more. He did 60, double. He says, I'm twice as sick as anybody. I need another. And then he lived 2 years in a sober living room with a roommate, in a structured house full of other people with chores and stuff,
Yeah, and then
idle hands, right? Idle hands get you in trouble.
Yeah, so that was all structured stuff, and so the rest of us, we could, geez, I have a wife who smokes weed every day, every night. Nice to have it in my house all the time, wafting down from upstairs. I help her grow it. Mm-hmm. People, I give them fish and they give me weed, and I find it sometimes in my car that I haven't given it to her. I can own this stuff. I smoked dope every day for 20 years at one point. I sold it. I was a business major in college. So I got good at buying an $80 block of weed and breaking it up and putting it into baggies for $10 and making $120 on the whole thing. So
flipping, back to flipping.
Flipping,
yeah, flipping weed.
Real flipper.
I was a businessman.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, that's another thing that surprised me. sobrieties me about being with sober people is like I was nervous to order a beer in front of Steve. Like the first time I did it, I was like, are you gonna be mad if I get a beer? Because we were going to where were we going? But anyway, we were at like a restaurant, and they were like, oh, we don't give a fuck, dude, go for it, you know. And like I see people now that are like in Austin, you know, some people were like apprehensive, like because we all went out to dinner. They're like, I don't want to order a drink, you know, is that gonna be weird? I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, it's not like he's gonna see that drink and be like, oh, like he can do that anytime he wants. Like he doesn't want it, you know. He doesn't want it.
Right.
Maybe sometimes there's like some, you know, the idea of like an ice cold beer is good, but he knows really you don't want it. You know, I've heard Scott at least say like, gosh, like a beer does sound like refreshing, but I know it's not worth it. It's like the idea of the beer.
I used to kid myself. It's so refreshing. Oh, it's such a thirst quenching thing. No, it's the alcohol in it. I want it, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. But this is oh god.
I call them my lawn mowing beers.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, like it's a societal.
Like, you know, you need something to cool off with after like hard physical labor.
And we trick ourselves too through like marketing and society that like that's the treat. You know, you work hard, you earn. Yeah. Getting drunk.
That's what the commercial on the football game tells you. You know?
Exactly.
That's you're not a man. You're not. This is what we do.
Yeah. I more and more I like. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be like fully sober. It's possible, but it's really. I don't know. When I hear people say they don't drink, it sounds nice.
I smoked dope for so many years, and I thought that I couldn't be creative doing tile or building or designing or thinking about stuff because I could slow my mind down, and I thought I needed it to be that creative person, you know. And then I just outgrew it or something. It just didn't do it. I just quit smoking dope for one day for some reason, you know, just didn't need it. And with alcohol, I saw myself drinking a half a bottle, and it didn't do anything to me. I didn't think I wasn't getting what I got earlier in life when it was a social lubricant, really.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's my former stepdad has been sober for, I don't know. He's been sober and not been sober again for quite some time now.
Goes back and back?
Yeah, well, he's doing really well, I would say. The last slip up I think was in 2008 or so. So he's been going steady for a while, but he always mentions that too. That it's the socialization. That's the hardest part, you know, that so many people kind of rely on that.
The brilliance
crux.
The most brilliant thing on AA is time. The first one's 30 days, you get a little piece of plastic. 60 days, you get a different color, you know. In 1 year, you celebrate a birthday and everybody just, you know.
So, just getting some positive reinforcement for it, yeah.
And then you see, I see so many people, you know, they had 7 years, 10 years, 12, 15 years. All of a sudden they come back and go, I drank all weekend, man, you know, so, you know, why? And I always approach them, why? What was it? What was the trigger, you know? And it's, you know, different things, but usually it's I quit going to meetings. I went to a wedding. Just wanted to try it again. I just, you know, I just forgot, you know. They just got away from it.
Yeah.
And so the time, you know, you know, many times I'd love to have a gin and tonic or straight scotch or a beer. No, I don't want to start over. Like I saw those people start over, and I get, you know, and it's not going to do anything. I taste it, but it's not going to do anything for me. That's why I have to remind myself. And staying close to sober people and AA has kept me sober. That's worked, and it's, you know, so.
How many years has it been?
I'm now 17 years, and, you know, on my phone it'll tell you how many days, everything.
Wow.
17 years in May.
I'm sure your body appreciates it.
Totally. You know, I resigned. I didn't think I'd, you know, live this old. I didn't think I was going to live past. I almost died when I was 19.
What happened?
And I was less than half a second from death, and I saw everything. I hadn't taken any psychedelics at that point, but I had a psychedelic experience at that last moment of what I thought my life was. I was held underwater by a gigantic wave. Okay, so I'm on the. I thought I was a good surfer. I was very good. I was one of the best.
Yeah.
I was one of the best in my in our group.
Okay, in your group, yeah.
So at my college, I went to a surfing college in San Diego,
That's cool.
and the four best surfers at the school, we rented a house on the North Shore of Hawaii for the winter break.
Amazing.
For December, all of December and the first week of January.
Wow.
So I lived right near the Bonsai Pipeline, and I'd surf Sunset Beach every day. So when I first got there, I'd never been to Hawaii. We checked out all the breaks. We we checked into our house that was right there. Went to the last break, Sunset Beach, and I said, I got to get. We look at the waves, and there's nobody there. There's nobody in the water. There's these pretty nice waves breaking way out there, and the three guys, and you always want to look and study, and especially a new place like that. And I was in there 5 minutes. I waxed up. I got to get out. I got to go. And I just saw the rip, and I paddled out, and I'm way out there, and it's the riptide and the water and the waves. The wind was really strong, and the waves are breaking over here, and they're breaking over here, and I'm out there totally alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Jeez.
And I got a little scared.
Yeah.
And the waves were much bigger when I'm next to them out there than they were there. And so the guys came out, and I paddled around for a half hour or so before they came out. And so we're learning the break. And at sunset, if you got a north swell, it would break here, and a northwest swell here. And there are these different reefs, and it's usually just a peak, so the wave was 30 or 40 feet wide.
Okay.
And just break, and and just one little peak, and you had to be right there to catch it. So after a few weeks of riding it, I was getting to know that, and I get a few good waves, and I'd get a lot of wipeouts and get caught inside a lot, and I was a great swimmer, and I'd ditch my board. You get 12 feet of water coming at you, you got to ditch these old boards. They were down bleachers and stuff, and then go in with the waves, and then the board would go halfway in and come back out the rip. And so you'd keep an eye on where your board was, swim over to it, and paddle back out and keep going.
Wow.
So that was the way at Sunset Beach, which was where I would surf most days. Well, myself and Doug Godfrey and the world champion Peruvian surfer Felipe Pomar were out late on a day. It was a couple hours before sunset. And the waves were pretty big. They were 12, 14 feet, 10 feet, 12, They were pretty big, and they were breaking, like I said, peaks here and there. And when we're way, way out from the beach, long ways out. and all of a sudden on the horizon there was a line, a wave that was cresting, just like you see
in my nightmares.
Yeah, or like
I dream of tsunamis often.
It's a tsunami wave.
Right.
And it was breaking it was ready to break everywhere. And at sunset, there were always these little peaks just to break on the reef. This wave was ready to break on the open ocean. And it was 25, 30 feet high. And the sun you could see the sun behind it, and the wind was holding it up. And we're paddling. And so there was me, Doug, and Felipe. And we paddle up this wave and through the lip,
Because you're just trying to get over it.
Trying to get over it and over it, get out, just clear these waves. And that was just the first wave. And as far as I could see, it was a corduroy of bigger waves. So that I could see 50 waves.
Oh my God.
It wasn't a 3-wave set or anything.
Right.
Or 6, or they sound like
we're going to be doing this for a while.
There's 50 bigger ones. And
wow.
we barely made it through the first one. And we crashed down. I'm going, Doug, what are we doing? Oh my God, we're fucking dead. We're dead. We're just, And we go to the second, we crash through the second wave, and Felipe's gone. He took off on the second wave.
Oh, he rode it.
Yeah, So he get to, we're all paddling right there, and all of a sudden we crash through it. He's not there, so he turned and went. And Doug, what are we doing? And he's 5 feet from me here, and we're not talking. We're just fuck, and we're paddling at an angle to go up this wave. I crashed through the third wave, and Doug's gone. He didn't say I'm going or anything. He just turned at the last second, took the third wave. And now I'm alone. And I'm dead. I know I'm gonna drown out. And I I got to dig deep. And so at the bottom of the fourth wave, I just turned my board and just barely paddled. And I took off, and I'm on this thing. You know, I stood up about halfway up the wave, and I'm just hauling down this thing that's 30 feet high. Jesus. And I'm about halfway from the top to the bottom. Mm-hmm. And it's cresting. Then I see it coming over, and it's going to break on me. So I straightened out, and I'd seen in the movies these guys, you know, they just straighten out and get down on the board and just try and ride it out, you know, go to shore prone.
So you laid down.
So I laid down.
It'll just take you.
So I laid down.
Right.
So I tried, because there's no way you can stand up and ride a wave that's broken like that.
Right.
But I figured I could ride it in like this. The wave just hit me, and it was an explosion. The board's gone, and now I'm in the middle of a 30-foot wave going like this. So you know, and I'm already tired from paddling, so I'm kind of out of air, and I know I've got to conserve myself. So I just balled up and just waited, went up and down, and I'm running out of air, I got to start going. I got to start finding the surface. And for about 10 seconds, I'm just panicked trying to get there, and I'm out of air, and I'm completely out of air. And in a flash, I saw everything I'd done in my life like a slideshow.
Wow.
You know, all the people, all my experiences just went through front of my eyes, you know, just like that. And I'm dead. So I just kind of relaxed, I'm dead, and I popped up like a cork.
Relax, you're dead.
I popped up like a cork, you know, and it was just all this foam and all these, you know, bubbles and just, you know, it was like suds on the top, you know, and literally 25 feet from me was the next wave, you know, 20 feet of whitewater right there, 20 feet, and so I got 2 breaths of air maybe, you know, and. You know, like,
right.
And then it just went over me as I went down, and I just held down and then stayed under, and it kind of, I could hear it, just the roar, you know, and it wasn't much of a, you know, I was underneath everything, you know, it was pretty calm where I was, and then I got to get up, get more air, and as I start coming up, same thing, you know, but it wasn't nearly like the first time. First time I was that close. This time I was, you know, running out, but I made it. And then 25 feet from me is 15 feet of white water. And I went under that one. That was easier. The next one was 10 feet of white water.
It's finally starting to dial down.
And the whole time I'm getting washed, you know, about a half a mile underwater towards shore. And
wow.
and then it's like 6 feet, and it's just a big wash, because I was on the fourth wave, and then there's 4 or 5 waves after that. And your board
you don't have your board at this point.
Oh, no, the board it blew, you know, away from me.
Yeah.
And then I just washed up on the beach, and the other 2 guys are there, and 3 boards are right there. And, wow. and nothing went back out the channel. There wasn't any channel, because this wave broke all the way across the horizon through the bay and everything. And years later, I ran into Doug, and he said, nobody's ever seen that happen at sunset.
Well, those waves come like that.
Waves like that completely closed out across the bay, and you know, and so it was just an incredible survival moment. And we didn't really say to each other, you know, like, wow, and what happened to you? And all, we knew, you know, what we'd all each gone through, you know, and so.
It's so fascinating. The life flashing before your eyes is such a common thing that people experience when they go through a near-death experience. I mean, it's almost a cliche. You know, my whole life flashed before my eyes. Like,
that was it. You know, and maybe I'd heard that. Maybe I don't know. I saw it. I saw everything in just a millisecond. You know, and I had not done LSD at that point, but it was like that.
It was a trip.
It was a trip. And I didn't figure it out until after I got sober. You know, I didn't, in retrospect, look back and see how that changed my life. But it did, because my mental stability was floated by the thought that God didn't want me to die. He saved me, like, you know, he corked me up there, you know. There must be something pushed me up there. So I got more to live, you know. So at that point, you know, later on, I mean, I did crazy stuff, jump off cliffs, you know. I tried to ride a bull, I'm an amateur
Pin
guy in a rodeo.
some bulls up.
Yeah.
No.
Make them
And you're
run
like, if
through
it's my
that's not-
time, I'll die, but
No,
probably won't. So.
No, I'm not going to do it. I climbed 300 feet of the as a test climb on El Capitan with the world's best climber, one of my buddies, Jim Bridwell, who was the world's, at that point, he was the world's #1 climber because he'd had the most free climbs and all this stuff. He was like Alex Honnold,
Right.
at that point.
Yeah,
At
free solo guy.
If you saw that movie, there was a picture of the 3 guys that climbed it in one day. He was one of those guys.
Okay.
And there was a shot in that movie of him.
Okay.
That
So-
is just next level crazy, by the way.
Yeah. super.
So he was one of my buddies. I knew his wife from skiing at Tahoe, you know, and he was always off on an expedition or something. I always said, "Take me climbing." I said, well, "We should do this thing where we climb El Cap, and it takes 4 or 5 days, whatever it is. The world's worst climber climbs it with the world's best climber, and I'll document it with a camera and all this stuff. I'll write a story." He says, "Okay, let's see if you can handle it. Let's go." And I had hiking boots, tennis shoes. These little rubber shoes are climbing shoes, and that's what he puts on. I have these hiking boots, and I'm supposed to, go up these little slivers, and stuff. I fell all over the place.
Oh.
But I didn't stop until I was like tree height, like 100 feet high. I didn't get in trouble till then, and I did it. I was scared, but I didn't look down. I didn't tremble. I didn't chicken out. And we went 150 feet, one pitch. Said, "Let's do it another." So I went 300 feet. He said, "You're good. We got to do this." And so, and then I had to rappel down, by myself. And
Wow.
He
So,
went-
but
he went ahead.
you stopped at 300.
we stopped at 300,
How high is the whole thing?
3,000.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
But we did this whole thing in about an hour and a half or so.
Phenomenal. Wow.
And I was all skinned up and, hurt and banged.
bet.
But no.
So wait, you were harned in or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
God,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So when he went up,
here.
he went
Not
up
a free
ahead of me. He's putting these little things that are like little springs that spread in cracks, So about every 15 or 20 feet, he would put one in the carabiner. So my rope went through those, and every time I felt like I was falling, which I did a couple dozen times, really.
Yeah.
When I was losing my grip and he'd say, "Just yell falling," because he's got my rope up there attached to something that I trusted, right?
Yeah.
Like I thought that I was completely attached to the wall through something that was completely solid. And when I got up to 150 feet where he was, he's sitting on a ledge about a foot wide, and he has 1 foot over here and 1 foot over here, and my rope was behind him.
Oh, and he's
This
just
was it.
holding
He
you.
was just holding me, and
Oh my
so
God.
everything was like going like this. And so that's why he said, whenever you feel like you're falling, just let me know. Just say falling, and he would tighten up, And he had my whole weight.
Wow. And that had happened a few times. You said falling. So when you got up there, you realized, oh my gosh, every time you fell, he was just holding you.
Yeah.
Actually holding you.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Until
life
it's
in his
lunch
hands.
break and
Anytime.
somebody wants a sandwich,
Yeah, no kidding. He's like,
Have you seen
Good thing you
this
didn't have
episode
cell
of
phones back then.
Seinfeld?
No.
oh, no, what's that?
There's
Oh,
a
that-
glorious episode of Seinfeld where Elaine is dating this jock kind of athlete character who loves to go rock climbing, and he convinces George and Kramer to go with him. And you just see like George and Kramer on the side of the mountains. They're supposed to be spotting him. And essentially, they decide it's time for lunch, and so they're getting out the sandwiches, and they miss it, and he falls and basically breaks his face. I mean, just destroys his face, which is why Elaine was dating him. He was very beautiful.
Oh,
It was
wow.
very funny, but
That happened to me shark fishing once.
oh god,
I was on my boat. I took my buddy John, my best old drunken buddy, and we were out for 2 days to Catalina, and he wanted to catch a shark, and I had a big 5-gallon bucket full of dead mackerel and stuff, and all chopped up, and so we're halfway back from Catalina. I said, I found a piece of kelp, tie up to it. I said, if we dump all this blood and stuff, they'll be here shortly, they'll find it. And he tied the rope to this kelp, and it came loose, and it went into my propeller.
Oh.
And I had to dive under the boat with a knife and cut this nylon rope, free.
Into the freshly chummed waters.
Freshly chummed water. So
Oh
I
my.
set John in the chair with a shotgun. I had a shotgun. I said, you just look back because there's the blood trail. You can see it. You can see a slick back there. I said, any shark that swims across that is going to turn and come right to us. You'll just see these fins. They'll be right on the surface. When you see a fin, just shoot the gun into the water, and I'll hear it, and I can get out of the water. So I'm under the boat for 20 minutes, half an hour at least. The first time, chopping this rope, and I finally got tired. I had to come up, and I come up the swim step, and here's John snoring with a shotgun in his lap.
Oh my God,
John, my life!
Wow, that's a lucky one.
Oh my gosh,
Jeez.
that is.
And when you're
he owes you one.
in the dark water, in the blue water, Pacific, you don't see the bottom or anything. It's just darkness, when you're looking down, and the sharks are,
Jeez.
I know.
Oh my gosh,
Wow,
that's
John.
amazing.
So we almost
That's
died again there.
amazing.
There you
That's
go.
the second
Once
time.
it's happened,
Yeah, that's fun to
amazing.
laugh later.
Yeah, that's a good. Once
Wow.
your feet are back on land, that's when that becomes funny.
I
Holy
don't know.
shit.
So these guys, I had Jim Bridwell, the world's best rock climber buddy, and one of his buddies who I got to know very well was the world's fastest skier.
Wow.
And this group, they developed this speed skiing thing, and they went to France, and they go up in this big chute, and they'd get into this tuck, and they would ski straight down, and right where it started to flatten off, they had a 10-meter timing gate. And you could they get timed going through that thing electronically and find out how fast they were going.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they were going 110 miles an hour, 100, and they went to 115 miles an hour, then 100. He went, I think, 126. He went 126, which was 200 kilometers an hour.
Holy
He was the first one to break that barrier, and he made a whole bunch of money on that. So he come back, and he's like the world's fastest man on earth. Attached to the earth on free.
I've never driven a car over like 110.
No, me either.
So he goes, "You got to do this with me. With us. This is great." And I said, they're doing it at Tahoe, and I
You're
said,
like, great, you hold the shotgun, I'll ride down the street.
right. And so they go, my skis, you're going to need some long skis, and I was skiing like 190s, and these guys are on 230s or something. I'm going, no, you need some longer skis. I said, I got some 210s. No, you need longer ones. Like what? And they said, come on over, So I went over, and they go, here's a pair of skis you can have. What do you want for these skis? Grandma Coke or something, I got these skis for almost nothing. I put new bindings on them, got them myself, and I started skiing them. And then they go, oh, by the way, these skis won the gold medal for Franz Klammer in the downhill Olympics in '76 at Kitzbühel or wherever it was.
Wow.
What? So I've got these famous skis that are just laying around that they just wanted a buddy to.
Wow, they were just waiting for someone with a Grandma Coke to.
They want to kill me. They want to, because these guys grew up on skis, and now I've been skiing for 12 years or something like that, and they, every day maybe it was something. I was in my 30s, and I really started skiing when I was 21, and so I'd only but I took it when I learned to ski. I was going like surfing every day, first on the lift, last one off, so I'm bombing with these guys. I'm not nearly as good, but they got me going, and it was a rush. Putting a helmet on and getting into a tuck and going down, and I went 90 miles an hour.
No way.
At Kirkwood.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. The first time I did, I went 65 over at this other place. And the next day, oh no, we're going to another place next week, and it's much bigger and longer. And oh man, come on. They got me going 90 fucking miles an hour, and the guy before me, there was 60 guys going and stuff, and I might have been number 40 or whatever. The guy ahead of me got off the track and stood up and crashed into a bump and exploded. And as he exploded, and he flipped over and over and over and over, and then the last flip he had, I just saw his arm Go down again. So he's totally unconscious. And he's out. They land a helicopter. They take him out. No, don't think about him.
They're like, all right, Randy, you're up.
Yeah, you're up. You're next. You're next. And that guy died. He hit that thing so hard his heart tore free, and he died. They never told us. They were just working on him, and all this stuff. No, he's dead. They took him off. You're next.
Jesus Christ.
You would think maybe
I know.
You're next
close the
to
lifts
die.
at least for 30
And
minutes.
the same thing happened when I went to get on the bull for the first time.
Okay.
I'm with my buddy, the world champion bull rider, who I'd been hanging around for a number of years.
You only roll with the best.
Yeah. So I've just been so lucky in my life to just.
You have
I've met my idols, and then I got to hang with them, and then I got to do what they did. Basically, surfing, the world champion junior surfer, he was my idol. He ended up living up the street for me, and went to high school together. We're still friends.
Wow.
Anyways, so
the bull.
So the bull.
Mm-hmm.
I'm helping him out at the California State Fair with his mechanical bull, and we're putting on everybody on this mechanical bull, $2 a ride, blah, 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 blah. And every time nobody was there, I'd get on it, and I knew the techniques. I saw him teach real bull riders. I knew everything, what to do. Surfing, the same thing. It's upper body, just balance. It's all balance, balance, stable. You go, you're getting great. You got to ride a real bull. So I said, every night at the rodeo, at the end of the day, there's these bull rides, and there's, these guys in the army that get to ride a bull, or some celebrity or something. How do those guys get on? Oh, some bull gets turned out, and then, they put it, turnout bull is a bull that's not going to get ridden. The guy that drew that bull didn't show up for the rodeo, so they just let the bull out of the chute, and then they collect him over here so he doesn't get ridden. It's called a turnout. So I said, put me on a bull. He says, the guy's not going to show up for Watergate tonight. And Watergate's this bull that's longer than this table, and big old blonde thing with horns and stuff. And Gary goes, you can ride this thing. He used to be at my ranch. He's one of the bulls that we taught on. He says he's ready to retire. He's at the end of his tour. This old bull. He'll jump out. He'll go 3 hops and turn left. 3 hops, turn left. 3 hops. Just stay up on him. You'll be able to do it. So I was all psyched to get. The guys, they put spurs on me. I said, I don't want to hurt. Wow. No, dig in with that spurs. I said, I've never sat on a bull before. They got me sitting on this bull. They got my hand tied down to this bull. I'm getting all ready to go. The guy in the next chute over, he's going. I'm up next. And as soon as his ride's over, I get to go. I'm all set. The guy in front of me gets on this Brahma, and the bull spins right in front, 20 feet from us, in front of us, and he gets bucked off, and he gets tied up, and he's hung up, and he can't get his hand, and he's running along next to this bull, and the bull takes his horns back, hits him in the head. Now he's unconscious, and he's just being ragdolling back and forth on top of this bull, and the bull takes him to the other side of this huge arena at Sacramento, and it's all the way down at the other end, and the horses are going out and they're roping this thing. It takes them about a minute to stop this thing, and they finally get him off, and they drove an ambulance in to get this guy, and I'm looking down there. Gary keeps slapping me. That's not your bull. That's not your bull. This is your bull.
God,
this is your bull. Just
the show goes on.
Keep your eye on his head.
Don't do anything risky before Randy. The guy before Randy just takes all their luck. Whatever they would have had, it just all goes to Randy.
So
then you're about to ride Watergate.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to nod. Now they got me tied down. I know one of the judges in this thing is a good friend of mine. I know, and I'm not eligible to win any money, but I'm going 8 seconds. Fuck 8 seconds. I'm riding for 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Here we go. I'm just gonna get a nice score from these guys. I just want a good score. Even though no money was going to come my way. I wanted a score.
Okay.
I'm ready to go. This guy taps me on the shoulder. Hey, get off that bull. I said, no, I'm ready to go. No, that's my bull. I said, what? He says, no, I was stuck in traffic, or I just got here.
You got there.
That's my bull. I went, he goes, that's not your bull. And I went, oh my God, okay. So I got off the bull, and I'm disappointed. This guy got on the bull, took him a minute to strap on and tie him down. Bull goes out, 3 hops left, 3 hops left, 3 hops, just circled to the left, just like Gary said. Gary said, you'd have ridden that bull all night long. You know? Yeah. But you didn't have to because you saw that guy get killed, and you stepped over that hurdle. You know, that was it. You know,
wow.
You faced that
because you were ready.
You were still going.
He said you rode that bull. You know, he just.
Wow.
And I was so disappointed. You know, but no, lift up your head. You know, that's okay. You passed the test. I went, wow. Oh, you know, so Stevie heard that. I told that story leading a meeting. You know, this is one of the turning points. You know, the wave and the bull and all that stuff. You know, one of the turning points in my life. You know, how I could face the fear, be right there and face a death or whatever, and just charge. And Stevie goes, well, I grew up in Queens, New York. He says, well, 5 words I never heard growing up there was, hey man, that's not your bull.
Not a sentence you get very often.
Right.
Wow.
I
Jesus.
I know.
Well, dude, Randy, this was awesome. Thank you so much for this. We should do this again.
Yeah,
we got to have you back.
No,
I
don't
boy.
think.
This has been an hour and 40 minutes already.
And we haven't scratched the surface.
I know. I feel like
don't
there's
think.
so
We've
much
only
more.
We haven't even gotten through all your lives.
Yeah, we've only done like 2 or 3 of them.
I would think we just scratched the surface. Even.
No, I've told you, I'm so lucky with my life. You know, I'm still living like I'm 30 years old, and I still feel like I'm gonna go fish like a youngster this week, catch huge fish. I mean, it's just try and pull the muscles out of my back on these things. It's so hard, and I can't slow down.
Well,
living the
you know
good life,
what?
Randy.
Yeah, doing what you want keeps you young, right?
Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 74.
Amazing. And you'd probably kick all of our asses. Jesus.
When I was 21, I met Jim Morrison, and I didn't tell anybody for years.
Oh, yeah? That was a skiing
The
story
skiing
too,
thing,
right?
Skiing. Yeah, when I was learning to ski.
All right, let's
getting
end
into
with the Jim Morrison story. Or should we pick up that next time for part 2 with Randy Stanger?
Cliffhanger.
Little cliffhanger. Let's leave him on a cliffhanger.
Oh, okay. Jim,
All right,
Jim.
ladies and gentlemen, Randy Stanger. Yeah,
Thank you
dude.
so
Paul
much.
Bisky, Christine.
Yeah, it was so nice to
Dude,
meet
this was
you finally.
awesome.